So we could we'll just go with we'll do this one a little piece by piece. First thing about John Morton, he's actually from Auburn Hills, Michigan. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's we got a lot of hometown guys.
Okay.
One thing I will say is this staff likes hometown guys.
And something you said earlier was that you really appreciate the camaraderie and the the ease and the flow between the I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but you appreciate the symmetry. That's the word. You appreciate the symmetry between the coaching staff that we have here. Right. And as soon as Kelvin Shepherd stepped up to the podium, that was probably the first time. It wasn't the first time that I heard him talk, but in length, I guess that's the most I've heard him talk in length. And it sounded like I expected it to sound. And you listen to Dan Campbell talk. You listen to Brad Holmes talk. You listen to any person on this.
I know what this is leading up to.
Everybody talks the same way. They have the same mentality. They got the same vibe. They got the same energy. When we listen to this Morton guys, when you listen to John Morton, John Morton. When you listen to John Morton talk, he gives off a different vibe. He gives off that, hey, I'm from out of town. Can you help me find the nearest gas station? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the system is kind of in place. I'm not gonna change anything. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna talk to the guys. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell me what they like, and we just go with that.
Yeah. And I thought. So since you brought that up, right? I thought it was very interesting. I wrote it down. Where is it at? I thought it was very interesting that he said, God, can't find it. But first off, he reminds me of a combination of John Gruden and I don't even want to say this name because it's like, God, like, why you gotta go that far? It's like you trying to kill a spider with a nuclear bomb. But I just gotta say it. He reminds me of a combination between John Gruden and he's got a little bit of Matt Patricia to him, man. I can't.
Oh wow.
I can't not.
Oh wow.
I can't not hear Matt Patricia when I hear him talk to the media.
Well, well, he came up under John Gruden, so that's where you get in John Gruden vibes because he was under John Gruden. I think he was under John Gruden one year.
He was. I got that too. He was around a lot of guys, man. He was around John Gruden, Norv Turner, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, Todd Bowles. So he's in obviously Dan Campbell now. So he's rubbed elbows with a lot of different guys.
Yeah, that's where you're getting that vibe from. Matt Patricia. Ah, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can. I guess I don't know, man. You know what I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how I want to see how the players react to him. I want to hear what the players have to say as we get into the seasons. Sometimes they're like, "What do you think, you coach?" Most of the time you hear, "Oh, he's a great guy." You know what I'm saying? I love him. You know what I'm saying? We was doing this together. The other day he was telling me so and so. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know if you hear that guy, if they say, "How you like your coach?" and they give the basic, yeah, he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Great guy. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, it's just new. Everybody's learning. We're all learning. Well, they just keep using the same word over and over again. That's some trouble. It's not good. And there was some of that, like you said, there was some in this interview.
Keep saying it over and over again. Grit, man, grit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of grit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's how it is when they asked them. That's how they asked It was always a save, and that's. I guess the Matt Patricia comes from. Hey, Matt Patricia had this air about him, this air about him, where it was like, hey, I've been there, I've done that, and when I step into the room, everybody should kind of know that I've been there and done that. Like you should, like Google me, basically, like ask about me, like like they just kind of got that vibe, like you don't know who I am, and it's not to the degree of Matt Patricia, but it is there. Like when they asked him about his offense, and he kept saying like, well, I'm not going to change nothing, and then they said, well, how do you feel following up, the guy that was here? Well, I don't concern myself with the guy that was here. That was but at the same time, you're standing here talking about how you basically going to do everything that the guy before you did with a couple of tweaks and niches here and there.
Yeah, and so when he said that, man, I feel like what he was trying to say is, how can I see? I feel like he was trying to. I think he was trying to separate himself from Ben Johnson without separating himself. Like let everybody know this is not. We're going to be running the same offense, but this is not Ben Johnson's offense. I think that's what he was trying to get at, but he didn't say it right. So you know what I'm saying. But it was weird the way he said it. it was right. It was weird. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're trying to well, see the hard part is that you're trying to justify a crazy ass statement. Because he basically went up there and said, I'm going to take this person's homework because they got all the right answers, but I'm gonna put my name on it. Why are you asking questions? And then he went as far as to say, like, when that person was studying, I was there. I helped him study. So this is essentially all my answers as well.
So, dog, no, what it is, dog, he's basically like, we built Napster together, man. I was right there when we built LimeWire, man. I mean, essentially, he was the guy that ran it for the year, but I was there in the beginning. We came up with it together. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get from him. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I'm with you. Ding, ding, ding. Because that I would say that that's a part of the Matt Patricia thing, because my biggest thing that I always felt about Matt Patricia was that he was just that oh man, you ever seen like Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
And you got the skinny blonde dude who's like, he usually be the smart one, and then he got his homeboy, the fat one that just be messing up all the time. I always felt that Bob Quinn was the skinny blonde dude, and Matt Patricia was the loud fat dude that just walked on in and put his feet up on Bob Quinn's desk.
So the only thing is where I differ from you on the Matt Patricia thing is that I feel like his thing is, well, yeah, I'm gonna take Ben Johnson's offense, but I'm gonna talk to the players and see how they want to run the offense too, and then we'll adjust that offense based on what the players say. As opposed to Matt Patricia, like, I got all the answers. You see this pencil in my ear? I'm gonna draw it up. I'm gonna make it happen. The players, they'll be there too, but just listen to what I'm saying right now. See the pencil?
I hear what you're saying, and he did say that. I just don't know how much I believe it. He also made a weird effort into explaining himself when he said that he just wants everybody to understand. This guy went on to say, like, hey, So when you see me shouting at the players, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I just want to make sure that everybody hears what I'm saying. I just want everybody to hear it, and I'm like, huh?
Hey, I'm a good guy. See, it says it right here on my shirt.
Why would you think anything else? Like, yeah, like, would I wear a shirt that would lie? Like, no, come on, guys. that was. I'm gonna admit, man, that was a little bit of a red flag for me. The red flag is strong. That was just something that piqued my interest. Another question that piqued my interest was somebody had the audacity to ask about Hendon Hooker. And that was probably my favorite answer that he gave because, man, my man almost tripped over the podium trying to cut my man off. He got in front of that question so fast. My man didn't even finish the question. And then he started talking about footwork. He started talking about footwork, and footwork makes you a better quarterback. And you eat right every day, and you'll be strong, and you can get out there, and you can have and live your best life. Did that answer your question?
Actually, no, it didn't. It did not answer my question.
Okay, anyway, next question, please.
Because when he started talking about footwork, I was like, footwork? And didn't he mention Tom Brady? Didn't he like, yeah, Tom Brady had great footwork?
Right. No, he that dude went everywhere, man. That dude went around the whole resume of everything he's seen in his life to bring it back to a not an answer. So I don't know what that was, man. I don't know if he was instructed on that. I don't know what that was. I just thought that was very odd. Not odd. Odd isn't the word. I know what I have my thoughts on what that was, but I just didn't think he handled that as they.
So I don't know, man. It feels like it feels like he went against the script because it seems like it was written in a statement around the coaching room. Whenever somebody asks you about Hendon Hooker, just say, "Hey, whoever goes out there. I mean, Hendon Hooker's doing fine. Whoever goes out there and plays the best will win the position." End of statement. And he like, nah, I got this. Wait. What did they tell me to say? Forget it. I'm gonna go off script.
I took it the complete opposite, man. I think they gave him this. I think that they gave him the script, and he just didn't read it. But he knew that it was something he was supposed to know, and so that was what he came up with. Because I think the script was whenever a question about Hendon Hooker comes up, essentially we're shopping him. We don't want to tank his stock, but he's not really going to be here much longer. But we don't want to tank his trade value. So just go out there and dodge the question. And then that's when he ended up on footwork. And, if you do this and you do that, because we're trying to teach everybody, because everybody is here and we're football players.
I essentially think, man, that he started out with the same thing that everybody else has. Like, everybody has a shot. They both have a shot at the backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And because that's what he said essentially at first. But then he just went somewhere else with it.
I totally disagree that John Morton cannot mess this thing up. He totally can mess this thing up, in my opinion. I don't think he will, but I can see it happening. And I don't think that this thing is gonna. I don't think that this thing is gonna take off. Like, they're not gonna just pick up where they left off, I guess is the best way I can put it. Because Jared.
Well, the only reason I say he can't mess it up Of course, he can mess it up by making the wrong calls. But the only reason I say he can't make it up is because he does have Jared Goff. He does have Saint. He does have all those vets on the field that pretty much already know what to do. You know what I'm saying? For him to mess it up, he will have to put his foot down and say, "No, fuck that, Goff. This is what we're running," and call the complete bad play. And I think from what he's saying, man, you don't believe it. But I think what he said, he just gonna pretty much let the players do what they want to, man.
The one thing now, this might have just been somebody just talking out of the side of the neck, but somebody said that the rumor in Denver was that this guy coming out of Denver was just a no nonsense type coach, and that's and I believe that, because why wouldn't you go out and get a no nonsense type of coach when your goal is to win the Super Bowl? So the Ben Johnson run up the score, pass to Dan Skipper, Taylor Decker in the end zone, flea flicker, double reverse. All that shit is dead. I don't think John Morton is going out there and running the Statue of Liberty or the annexation of Puerto Rico.
No, I don't think he is, but my takeaway, and I may be wrong. I don't have no inside scoop, but I don't think that Ben Johnson was a player's guy, man. And this Johnny Morton might not be a player's guy either, but I think he is more so than Ben Johnson was. Like, I think the players like Ben Johnson because he was the trick play guy. He did let them practice those trick plays. But I don't know. But whenever I heard the players talk about Ben Johnson, we got that oh yeah, great, man, great. You know what I'm saying? He lets us. The only thing they said, he lets us do those trick plays.
I didn't get that vibe at all, man. They always asked about this play, and I heard Saint say it. I heard J-Mo say it. Like, yeah, we all are Jared Goff. More couldn't have been talked about how great of a relationship Jared Goff and Ben Johnson had. And then when it comes to the trick plays, all I heard was, oh yeah, it's really all Ben Johnson. Like, we come up with stuff and we swing it by him, and he comes up to us like Panay Sewell, like, hey, he came up to me and asked me if I could throw a pass and all of that. And this, with John Morton, though, man, I feel like Mom went to wherever Mom went. Mom went out of town, and this whole time it's just been Dad and the kids, and we've been staying up late. We've been playing video games all night. We've been having pizza for dinner every night. Ice cream sundaes at 2:00 in the morning. And now Dad's got to go back to work, and Mom is home now, and that shit is dead.
Well, no, I don't think. What I'm trying to say is, I think we will get less trick. I think we will have less trick plays, but I can't. I think that he just kind of let them. I think he gonna let the players kind of run the ship, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all been here before. Y'all know what to do. Go do y'all thing.
I think success is gonna be. I think a successful John Morton game is gonna be Sonic and Knuckles all day. Ideally, they both right around 100 yards. Like, basically, you got like 300. I put it like this: you got like what do you want to say? 250 yards on the ground between Gibbs and Montgomery. Goff is throwing for like 250 yards. St. Brown's got a touchdown and a couple catches, and J-Mo's got 2 catches for 70, 80 yards or something like that. That is the ideal John Morton game.
So you think that the passing game is going to take a hit this season?
Big hit. I think a bad John Morton game is going to look like, 50, not 50, but it's gonna be like 39 attempts, and you only got 100 yards on the ground, and Jared Goff is forced to try to dig you out of the hole, and now he's throwing it. It's just that it's gonna fall apart. I think that's gonna be
But
a boring game where
but
we're just watching the TV and like, man, the run game is not there. But I feel like they're gonna just keep forcing it.
but essentially, he said that he thought that J-Mo should be more of a deep threat.
Yeah, and that's another thing. How's that gonna work? Because Ben Johnson gave Jared Goff J-Mo deep threats like, he just, here's a deep threat. Like, he didn't ask him to do it. He asked him to do it like what, once or twice per game?
Yeah,
So what you think John Morton is gonna advocate for Goff to go deep once a drive if he can? I
that's
don't
what he said. That's
I
what he's
don't
saying.
but can Goff do that though?
I mean, I'm just saying what the man said. The man
I
said he
got
should be
you.
more. He should be
I
more
got
of a. He should be more of a Jamar Chase.
I got you. I got you. I agree. I've agreed with that since day one. That's why I wanted him so bad. But let's just, we can go ahead and have a conversation again. Is Jared Goff that type of guy? Because John Morton's he's been around the league, and me and
Well,
you
you
have been
know.
watching Jared Goff this whole time.
Well, I personally never thought that Jared Goff had the arm to be a deep threat quarterback like that. But I mean, last year he was getting them off. I mean,
Once per game.
he's gotten better. That's all. All I know is he's improved. Like
Hey, I,
like
I,
two like two 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I would have said flat out no. And now I'm saying maybe.
Okay, I'll wait to see it. I stay on the side of, if you ask Jared Goff to do a little, he can give you a lot. But if you ask Jared Goff to do a lot, he's going to give you little. And everybody agrees with that. But they only agree with that when they talk about protection. If you don't protect Jared Goff, then he's not going to give you anything. You got to give him a lot of protection. But I think it goes beyond that. I think it just goes with anything with Jared Goff. If you ask him to do a lot, he's going to give you a little bit. And when it comes to, hey, I want him to air it out, shit. Dan Campbell don't even want that. The beginning of last year, telling everybody how he kept telling Jared Goff to dial it back, dial it back, dial it back. He's just doing a little too much, and he knows it. I told him all the time. He knows it. It was like, damn, Dan, what you mean? Like, this is your $50 million quarterback. You want him to dial it back? So, we'll see what J-Mo looks like in a John Morton offense, but.
Well, you put it like that, man. Don't give me the. I've grown to like Jared Goff. I'm not going to defend him to the end of the earth, man.
I'm just saying, it's not.
He's gained my confidence, but not like that. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not even trying to turn this into Jared Goff slander. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, the season has started. We're only speculating. All we can do is think what we think will happen, and we'll see. All I'm saying is, it's hard to mess up. It's going to be hard to mess up this team, man. Like, everything is there for you. I feel like it will take a Matt Patricia effort in order to mess up this team, man. Like, you will really have to be trying. You really have to be trying to mess up this team.
And my thing is, I think that Ben Johnson being able to, like you said, it was known throughout the locker room that every game it might be somebody different. But I just think that it goes unappreciated how effective Ben Johnson was able to get everyone involved. Even if it wasn't your day, you still were involved in that stat sheet. and everybody showed up and everybody stayed ready to go and involved and awake. And I think that you could see some slippage going forward if this guy isn't as connected to this offense as Ben Johnson was.
Well, are we forgetting that at the end of the day, do we think that Dan Campbell keeps the reign on some of the remnants of what was happening last year, or not at all?
Listen, man, this is probably the most exciting thing that I have going into the season is again the legend, the folklore. What does Dan Campbell do for this team? Because whenever I bring up Dan Campbell to anybody outside of saying that he's the greatest thing to ever happen to Detroit sports,
Dan Campbell, give love to Dan Campbell. You got to give my love to Dan Campbell.
They turn around and tell me, well, Dan Campbell's not in charge of that, or Dan Campbell doesn't control that, or Dan Campbell can't go out and draft the defensive end, or Dan Campbell doesn't call the offensive plays, or Dan Campbell doesn't run the defenses. So I've given up. I've given up. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Don't ask me what does Dan Campbell do here, because I've taken a step back.
Listen, all you need to know is that Dan Campbell is the greatest coach of all time.
I've heard. so I've heard he walks on water.
Yeah.
Him and Brad hand in hand can walk on water. When they combine their forces together, they can walk on water.
Man, I will not take any. I will not take any Dan Campbell or Brad Hall slander on this podcast.
Listen, man, you are preaching to the choir, man. I am 1,000% invested in how deep are the reins for Dan Campbell and this offense, and what this offense looks like without Ben Johnson, and how much of it was Dan Campbell. And I will glean what I can from these first couple games, and you and everybody else to tell me that no, that's crazy. Dan Campbell doesn't control the offense. Get this guy John Morton out of here.
I'm telling you right now, man. If it's successful, it was all Dan Campbell. Yeah! If it falls apart, then it was Johnny Morton, dog. That's just. Tell me this: when you think of the Lions, whose face do you see first? Exactly, Dan Campbell.
Hey, man, that was the most honest Dan Campbell discussion answer I've ever heard in my life, and I appreciate it. Man. And I love Dan Campbell. Don't get me wrong, I love Dan Campbell, but at the same time, I'm holding everybody accountable. I'm just holding everybody. Dan Campbell holding everybody accountable. I'm holding everybody accountable. We all on the same page. But yeah, no, you're right though. If you that's 100%. I should clip that. I'm gonna clip that answer. And the reason is that you could see what I described next year, and the offense just spends the entire season not looking right, and that would give me so much hope going into the playoffs if towards the end of the season you started to see it click, and it took a whole season for them to actually get things to click. And then now you have he's not a veteran play caller, but he is a veteran coach, and that's where you need your veteran coach when you get into the playoffs. And he's finally got a pulse for his offense. And now you see guys who have been kind of missing all year. That's, in my opinion, that's a championship team. When guys who haven't contributed like they usually have, but everybody slowly takes turns stepping up on the road to that championship. And I think that even if they don't hit the ground running, which I don't think they'll hit the ground running, I think that there is still a pathway to them to win the Super Bowl, because ideally they won't have clicked fully until playoff time comes. Whereas the opposite could be said, arguably, I wouldn't even say that. Arguably the opposite could be said about last year. We really were clicking all year. We were really clicking all year. It was just that one game that Jared Goff kind of just didn't have it. But maybe it's
2 games.
Yeah, but we won that game though, and that was in the middle of the season. But
we won that game, but he played two sides of a coin that game because he played really bad that game, and he did just enough to where we squawked by and came back and won it, but he played really bad that game. So, but all the